Oh, now we're live.
Now we're live.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. This is my first video on Morph Relay, and I'm so happy that the first guest I host is a dear brother. And in the few minutes, I'll just allow him to introduce himself and the wonderful work that he's doing, telling stories about Zambia. We're really underrepresented online.
Indeed.
And it's really good to have a guy like the Khumba Guy, just going around the country telling stories and you know one embarrassing thing. Probably I'll say this and then you can. And after you do it, I'll tell you one of the most embarrassing things about my experience.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, the first time I was out from the Copper Belt was when I was eligible to vote.
Oh, okay.
I'd never been outside the Copper Belt.
Yeah.
So my experience, my Zambia was just the Copper Belt. And
Yes.
probably because I spent most of my time there, it still is.
Yeah.
I remember being in Livingstone. It felt like a new world. Because the
Totally different world.
And they would just assume that you're from there. They would talk to you like a local person. I've never. That's the first time I felt like a stranger in my own country.
Your own country, yeah. The vibes are different. And,
it is so different. Yeah. But I'll allow you to introduce yourself.
Okay, so for all those who'll be watching this video, I'm the Khumba Guy. And sorry. I'm the Khumba Guy, and I do travel and tourism. I've got it on my YouTube channel and Facebook page. I've got social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And Twitter, though my Twitter is very inactive, you know. Twitter is not a big thing in Zambia. Yes, I actually have Twitter as well.
I never know how to use that thing.
No, it's never gained much traction in Zambia and probably just in Africa. I don't know, but there are a few people who push for it. But yeah. Anyway, for those watching, I'm the Khumba Guy, and I do travel and tourism in Zambia. I just share stories, experiences, information, prices, and when I travel, I'll share videos of how the trip was or destination and things like that. From different parts of the country. I've done a bit of Southern Africa as well. So yeah, as and when I go around, I share those videos, I share that information. Just both for those who are locals and those who are new to the country, to be able to see what's happening in Zambia. If they're visiting, they'll know how to get around. So yeah, that's the Khumba Guy in a nutshell. You'd see a lot of what I do. You'd learn more of it if you visit my page. So yeah. Zambia is a big country. We've got a lot to show. We've got stories to tell. There's a lot of content which is not there. You search for it and you don't find it. So we're trying to do that.
Fill up that gap. Yeah, I think it's really important. Especially now with the coronavirus, I'm sure many countries will be competing for tourists because now the announcements that the vaccine is out. So
two things actually coronavirus has caused. Number one, especially in the heat of right in the middle of 2020, everybody was home. So people wanted to see the world because they couldn't see it in real life. So they're now home and they're like, yo, come on, give us more videos. You know, people want something to watch, something new to watch, something interesting, something fresh. Those who are in the diaspora want to watch, just something from back home. So that's one thing that COVID did. But then, like you've said, once the world opens, people want to go somewhere. And now, like I said to a lot of people, most people do their own research. And one of the key places is Google. That's the biggest search engine in the world. And YouTube is the second biggest search engine, which is a baby of Google anyway. And so people want to see these places.
Yeah.
Not just hear them from their travel agents, but they want to see, oh, let me watch a video, let me learn about it. That's what most people do now. We YouTube our lives whenever we want an answer.
Yeah.
So we
True.
need to make that content so that people are able to see different places and come. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's very
we're
true.
trying to do
I
it.
mean, there's some people that have come to Zambia and they actually don't know which buses to use to get to, like, for example, if they land in Lusaka and they want to get to the Copper Belt, they
Yeah,
have no
yeah,
idea how to get there, and
yeah, yeah,
that's how bad it is. That
yeah, yeah,
in such,
yeah.
I mean, we don't have so many buses; it shouldn't be complicated.
Yeah, yeah.
Which could be good for the service providers because then they can easily enjoy the monopoly, but no one is taking advantage.
No,
Of
nobody,
that.
nobody is actually. Actually, I mean, even just for my travel videos, especially,
Mhm,
if somebody's new to a route, I always
mhm.
like to give them the information in my videos. I try to make sure somebody knows, okay, how long is the journey? You know,
Yeah,
you can Google, you can check on Google Maps and say Lusaka to Kitwe. It will give you 400 kilometers, but that
mhm.
doesn't give you a real feel of, okay, this journey by bus is 8 hours or 7 hours.
Yeah,
um, I want to tell you, oh, you're going to stop for food in Kabwe, which is 2 hours away. So
yeah,
at least you'll be able to stop for a drink.
yeah.
I mean, if you're going to Livingston, you only stop for food in Monze,
Mhm,
which is what, four hours into the journey. So I traveled
mhm.
with a lady once, and the things like, where will I go to the toilet or restroom and things like that. So people want that information.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's important to give people, oh, when you arrive, what happens at the station? Can I easily get a cab? Is
mhm,
there congestion? I mean, look at how intercity is. So
mhm.
um, you may pick an operator. Everyone will say, oh no, use Majandu was very popular at some point with tourists because of their
Yeah,
services. So, but okay, I'll get on Majandu. But you want to know, how's the bus, how's the route? How many
mhm,
stops are we going to have? Will I be out to stretch my legs? Am I just
mhm.
sitting in the bus for all 7 hours? I know that. So yeah,
I'm,
that's
I'm,
part of it.
I'm curious. You say Magento used to be quite popular. Or do you mean before the
Um,
coronavirus or the services just dropped? I mean, Majando is the one I know. I've been to Livingston with public transport once. I mean, that was Majando, and
yes.
I actually can't even think of an alternative.
So when Majandu came on the scene, when they really became popular, they came with very, very high standards and with a big show and with a big bang.
Yeah.
Okay, they came with drivers who had all that uniform with the pilots thing is
True.
there, and then they could offer booking services and everything like that. And because they were going to Livingston, which is, they had that, Majandu is there, and they really built a reputation. They really built a big brand and a reputation. That was their first route, and I think that was
Yeah.
their only route initially. And then at some point, they started coming to the Copper Belt. Oh, Majandu is coming to the Copper Belt now, and so, oh, Majandu is good. So everybody just had that, oh, Majandu, very good
Yeah.
service, and they did offer a very good service. I
Mhm.
have to give them that.
Yeah.
And they increased their fleet and they did that. But then there was a time where they got embroiled in a number of accidents, and RATSA
Yeah.
suspended them for a while, and they reduced the number of fleets and so on. But there's still, even now, they still are. But after that, that really poured water on them for a
Mhm.
while. After their suspension and so on, up to now they're still there. They're still going to Livingston. They're still doing Copper Belt route and a few
Mhm.
others. But a few others now are taking a bit more shine. Jordan is doing well with a lot of fancy buses.
Mhm.
Shalom also bought some fancy buses as well, and they're doing the South Africa route. So competition is they have a few people to compete against.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're still good. They're still good.
Yeah, okay. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and which one of those would you think? I think these are seem to have been or seem to be more consistent. And when you're planning, you're probably an expert when it comes to this. And when you tested different ones, you'll be like, oh, these are good because now they're the ones happening, but these are good because if you see them over time, they seem to be consistent. So it seems like they have something that others don't.
Um, It depends on the routes. Some providers have certain routes. Others don't. Others don't have certain routes. So, first of all, I'll give you my preferred operators personally. Some people are scared of being biased and saying, "Oh, these are the preferred." But I'll start with my preferred operators. Then I just talk about the rest based on. I mean, I do have my preferences. Having grown up on the Copper Belt,
Yeah.
Euro was what I knew, and Euro
Yeah.
did a good service. Euro only have their one route, Lusaka to Kitwe. So I'd always recommend anyone going between Lusaka and Kitwe. That's your bus. They have a good service up to today. They're one of the oldest operators, and they have a very good service. And they only do that route, so that's that's that. But Jordan Motors has a very extensive route around Zambia. Very extensive. There's almost the only place they don't go is Southern Province, Livingston. Otherwise, everywhere else, Western Mongu they go, Pata Petauke they go, Northern Province Kasama, all the way to Mpulungu, all the way to Nakonde, all the way to Kashikishi in Wapula. You find Jordan everywhere. Solwezi, even Kalumbila, they've started. They have Minilunga bus. So Jordan have one of the most extensive routes in Zambia. And what is the preference to me is that they have original buses. They don't have Chinese buses. They have a pure original fleet. So I recommend. I mean, I'm partial towards that. So I have to be honest. Yeah, some people don't mind. Some people don't even have any idea. They just know a cab by the name of the company, and they say this. But
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm into these things. Others just know any big bus is a Marco Polo. People have no idea that. So yeah, some of us know that. Oh, this is a Marco Polo. This is an Iriza. This is a Chinese Zongtong and whatnot. So yeah, but Jordan are on point. They're very good service providers. They're very good with their routes. They have loads of buses that, in case there's a breakdown, they'll really give you a recovery. I'd recommend Jordan. It's Jordan actually, but anyway, Jordan. I'd recommend Jordan any day.
Jordan,
Even South Africa, they do South Africa as well. So you're safe in that. Then there's Shalom. Shalom, I've used Shalom a lot. Actually, a lot of people think I work for Shalom because a large number of my videos. By some chance, a lot of my videos ended up being about Shalom.
Yeah, because sometimes the way you in your stories you speak as if you are the one in chat. Say, oh yeah, we are going to South Africa.
I think I've done. My first travel video to Livingston was Shalom. The second one to South Africa was Shalom. I did a second Livingston trip with Shalom. I did Solwezi with Shalom. I think I've got 5 or 6 Shalom videos, and then even a lot of my posts. So yeah, they have a good service as well. I have to commend them for that. So their routes are a little more limited than Jordan. Jordan is much bigger than Shalom is. But they do a good service for what they offer. They now have they're the biggest operator on the Livingstone route. I think they have 5 or 6 buses every day, both ways. Yes, Shalom.
So Majando has really lost market.
Yeah, they've really lost. Majando, I think, only has one or 2 buses to Livingstone every day now. They've really dropped. That suspension really hit them hard. So yeah, Shalom have dominated. And if you ask many people in Southern Province, whether it's Choma, Monze, Livingston, they really prefer many people prefer Shalom. But there's a number of other new operators there. There's the small FM sprinters and so on.
Yeah.
And so on. So yeah, those are my 3 top operators in Zambia: Jordan, Shalom, and Euro Africa.
Yeah.
But then there's the Eastern route. Like Eastern Province has a few operators who have never. I haven't used that route a lot. But there's Jonda who do Eastern Province. There's ACK. I did ACK once. I traveled to Chipata with ACK. ACK are good. I'd recommend them any day. So there's ACK. There's Jonda. There's Zambia Malawi. Zambia Malawi had a safety issue at some point, but I think they're doing okay now. They haven't had many accidents, all right. So yeah, Eastern Province, you have those options. Oasis is new. Now,
Yeah.
Oasis was a Namibian company.
Yeah.
So they opened the route from Sesheke, Katimamulilo border, Sesheke into Lusaka. So they started there because they were leaving Lusaka to Windhoek. So they have that route. Then they also opened Mongu, Lusaka to Mongu, and recently they started Lusaka to Chipata, and they've been doing well with their routes and their services which they're offering. So you have those companies in those routes. There are a few others here and there, but yeah, those are some of the operators I can mention.
Okay. That's
Mhm.
interesting. You know
So
this.
yeah.
I have no idea. I just know I would call them the usual suspect, but after listening to you, I don't think they're that usual. I mean, I only know power, and you probably could tell where I'm from. I only know power tools. Uh,
Partus has become big. I have to give them that. Partus have become big. They're also, in terms of coverage, they're covering almost as many routes as Jordan.
oh wow.
They have a very extensive. They have buses almost everywhere. But Partus had, as early as last year, Partus had a very terrible safety record. They had a lot of accidents, and luckily for them, they didn't have any suspensions like all the other operators. There are reasons for that, which I don't want to mention on a public forum, which because I don't know, just hearsay. But they never suffered a suspension where they said, "Oh, you've had too many accidents within this period, so we'll suspend you until you retrain your drivers and you check your fleet and so on." They never suffered that, so they managed to avoid such a loss in provider and so on. So they're still alive and offering a service
Yeah.
around. So yeah, Partos are there.
Yeah, I think for some time, because I've always used Majando since I started using them, and but after some time I started noticing. I mean, Power Tools used to struggle getting customers
Yes,
because
yes,
if you've noticed in Ndola, they're just side by side.
yes, yes,
You'd
yes. At
find that
Broadway.
you find that there's so many people waiting just to get on a Majando.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
after they know that it's full, they would rather choose
Yeah, for the next one.
the next one.
Yeah.
That's how popular Majanda was. But
Yeah,
then,
Majando was big. They really had built a good reputation and a big name for themselves.
yeah, so that was quite unfortunate. Over time, I started noticing that people now would just go to Power Tools.
Yes, yes, yes.
Probably
Even
because
now,
sometimes branding is not so big in Zambia. Then you just go for the next alternative. So people started
whichever
choosing
comes, yes.
Power Tools. But then over time, Power Tools started now becoming more like the preferred
The
service.
preferred service
Yeah,
provider. Yeah.
so then they would choose them. And then I noticed that the quality of the buses, Yabamajand, I don't know if it's because they were getting older or lack of service, or they are just older buses. I think quality are shorter. And you could
Well,
really,
yeah, okay, Apanche, yes,
yeah, you
yes,
see that
yes.
even though we move, this is,
This is the Majando we knew.
yeah. So I don't know if
Yes.
some people, it's like they buy a lot of buses, then people bought them because they are new. So it's more like the quality of the buses, not the quality of the service. I don't know if you know what I'm
Yes,
hinting at.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I mean, what partly what came in with that, a number of companies, you have those who want to buy original buses, follow the Eriza. Like Euro Africa have pure original fleet. Jordan have a pure original fleet. And so you have buses which last longer, and so on. But then in a bus, seats begin to finish and so on. But then you have companies which then buy Chinese buses. Now, Chinese buses, you can get 3 Chinese buses for one original bus. So those companies who opt for original buses take a little longer to buy a new bus. And anyway, because it's an original bus, it will last longer. And so on. But those who buy to my Chinese buses, quick, they get new ones. Quick, they get new ones. And so people are like, oh, and those who don't know, like you don't know, this is a Chinese, so you just, it's a new bus. They've got a new bus. It's like this and so on. So you don't know what's happening behind the scenes, So some companies benefited from that and so on. So yeah, but yeah, there are a few different reasons. And so there's the quality of the bus and so on. So yeah, Majandu rode on their their reputation for a good service. They really took advantage of it, and they built their brand, which was very good for them.
Yeah,
Which is
very.
something which people should have learned, because they really they aced it. That you have to give it to them. They aced their game.
Majando, the family
Yeah.
bus. Yeah,
Yes.
I still remember that tagline. Quite interesting. Sad.
Oh yeah, then
sad.
you have a few copper belt buses like Likili. Likili came up. Likili is also growing. It's a very good, and it's going to. It started with a lot. It started going to a lot of unserviced areas. Likili. It
Yeah,
opened up to
the western side.
Chavoma, Western Province. Yeah, started going to Nakonde. It went to what do you call Lufuanyama. It has opened a route to Lufuanyama. So it really did that. What Chovu was very particular with Luansha. And so on. So yeah, that's about the bus service in Zambia. It's an interesting industry.
I'm quite curious. I'd love to hear the story behind the Khumba Guy, because I mean, what you do is not cheap. I mean, what made you start this? I not only started but continued, because you've been doing it for some time. I mean, what's the story behind?
About 2 years now. Yeah. So the Khumba Guy started. I don't really know exactly the point. It always comes back and then it goes. But I think I wanted to show the route. I think it started really. It was a travel thing. I wanted to show. When I'm traveling, I'm very keen. I'm a keen traveler. I don't just sit in the back reading a book or dozing off. I really like to pay attention. The signs on the road which say, "Oh, Shanshaniko 200 kilometers. The next stop is this," and I like to engage with maybe drivers or the conductor. And like you have probably noticed, I'm very much into these. What type of bus? What model bus? How long is the journey going to take? So it's really been some part of me, just all these things, and so on. So I think that's where it may have come from. How can I share this information? Just whoever's interested, I'm having this journey, and so on. And one of my Livingstone video, I think that's one of the first videos I can point to and say that was my first travel video.
Yeah,
it was in fact, I edited that video on my phone completely, which I'm always impressed by it, because now I use the computer, so I'm very, very impressed with it. But that was a very interesting video for me, because I showed all the stations, Kafue, Mazabuka, so on, and what time, so that you can know, okay, we started our journey at 10:30. We are at this place by 13 hours. We're at this place at 14 hours. We're arriving around 17 hours, or we're arriving at 19 hours. Now we're here. So if you watch that video, you get a good picture of, okay, this is the Lusaka to Livingstone route, and so on.
Yeah.
And so from there, the rest is just history. So basically, just to share the journey, the basic information about the trip, like times and stops and things like that. I had noticed years ago, even before I started the Khumba Guy, the trip from Lusaka to Livingstone is similar to the trip from Kazungula to Francistown. So I traveled a lot to Botswana because I've got relatives there. But the Botswana route from Francistown to Kazungula, there's only one town in between, which is Nata. So 2 hours from Francistown to Nata, then from Nata to Kazungula, it's about 4 or 5 hours. So it's a long stretch, and it feels like, we're going on forever and ever. Then I realized, I was like, wait a minute, this is almost the same as going to Lusaka, except that from Lusaka to Livingstone, there's so many towns in between. So you don't notice that the journey is so long, because after an hour you stop, after 2 hours you stop, you see development and civilization. So it feels different, but it's actually the same. So I was just hoping to share that information. And being the tourist that I am, I love being at the falls. I love touring and seeing places. That just was a natural, just fell in as well. It was a natural, because traveling usually goes with tourism. So that's the rest was history. But then to come to your question, travel and tourism is not cheap. It's definitely not cheap. Just and a lot of people haven't noticed that, but a lot of my trips, a number of my trips have happened. I should stop moving my camera. It's very disturbing, especially for the people who'll be watching. I need to hold it. I'm using my phone. And a lot of my trips have been along similar routes. It's hard to notice, but I've done a number of I've done a lot of Livingstone videos, both
Yeah.
travel and tourism.
Mhm.
And then I've done a number of Copperbelt videos because
Mhm.
I frequent there. So I was like, if I really had a stash of cash to travel, by now
Yeah.
you'd have seen me going to Kasama, you'd have seen me going to Luapula, you'd have seen me going,
Yeah.
because you just wake up this week and say, today I want to showcase this side, I want to go here and so on. So
Yeah.
most of my videos, I make them in the course of duty. So if I'm going for a work meeting, if I'm going for a
Ah.
training, so everything, almost all the videos I've done, I have a reason for them. South Africa was a conference, the South Africa video I
Yeah.
did, and then all those other videos in South Africa and in Botswana was me just traveling back to
Mhm.
Zambia.
Yeah.
Livingstone, my first Livingstone video, I had a training in Livingstone where I was going to train some students.
Mm.
Copperbelt video, obviously, I was just going home.
Mm.
Chipata was purely business, at least that one, yes.
Mhm.
That one was meant for that trip itself,
Mhm.
and so on. So a number of my videos, and then a number of my tourism videos. Livingstone, you just go to the falls. It's 5 kwacha by bus to go from town, and 12
Yeah.
kwacha entrance into the falls. So you show that, and a few other places you're able to show here and there. Lower Zambezi, at least that one was a paid trip. So the time I visited Lower Zambezi, I did 1 or 2 videos there.
Yeah.
Then a few, I did the Gamma shot, I did in Dola. So you try to do as much as you can with the little money that you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. So now at least I've got Patreon. So I have a few, I don't know, 2 patrons who are signed up for a monthly something. So the more the
Mm.
channel grows, the more supporters grow.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a bit more money to just travel for the sake of traveling and for making
Yeah.
videos. So yeah.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. I have some ideas for you. I think there are a couple of things that you can do that in
I like
addition
that. I
to
like to hear ideas. Being a one-man show, the only ideas you ever hear are your own, so it's nice to have external
yeah.
brains.
I think there's some low hanging fruits, especially for you, now that you've accumulated a body of work.
And the
Like one of the
following
things,
as well.
yeah, true. One of the things that you can do is, I mean, just hearing how you're familiar with the bus services, the quality, and all those things, you can put up a pitch for one of those CEOs and say, "Hey, listen, this is what I do. I can be your brand ambassador and help you promote your either Jordan or what. And so
Yeah,
this is what
yeah.
I do. I can help you with some of these things.
That
That could
is,
really
yeah.
be
Yes, yes. That
yeah,
is a good idea. Yes, that's something I could work on actually.
yeah.
I know a few companies. There are a few companies who've embraced social media in a small way or that. I've actually managed to have a few friends from Shalom because of the videos I make. Well, at least they've appreciated. I've seen a number of employees, a few drivers who I've shared the video with them, and they've really appreciated the videos and enjoyed them. So
Yeah,
those are inroads I can make actually, and
yeah.
opportunities I
That's
can
how I'm
take.
saying low hanging fruits. I'm sure.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, because
Although
I
I
mean,
have talked to I
sorry.
have talked to one bus operator. I had an opportunity to talk to the owner himself of the bus company.
Mhm,
Not his manager or an employee, but the owner of the company itself. And
mhm,
I talked to him. I'm like, look, social media and so on. Yo. He's never been. It's like, no, 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 no. uh, our companies, our service is advertised by word of mouth. We offer a good service, and it's a good principle. I mean, you offer a
yeah,
good
true.
service, and people themselves will talk. The work itself will advertise for itself. So he doesn't really. He's not keeps like social media, Facebook, all these things. He really isn't into. But there are a few companies that. So it's an interesting field out there. But yeah, it is something you can really. I mean, how many companies are there? There's so many. So
Yeah,
you lose some, you win some. So yeah, it's a good
yeah,
tip. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. I mean, that's the trend now. This influencer marketing and
Mm,
companies, and I mean, if you see, there's a high chance that you see a car commercial either from Toyota, Mercedes Benz, from one of the influencers and not from the actual company.
Themselves, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
so if you're on Facebook, there's a high chance that you see a video of someone reviewing it or driving or showing a feature and all those things. It's rare that you see it from the actual company nowadays.
Someone mentioned that marketing budgets are very high for companies. If they really want to go all out marketing, either on TV or whatever, they have to set up a whole budget and do it. But if they can use an influencer and say, oh, Umblani, you're doing this, what they would give me would be a tenth of what their budget would be. They would say, look, here's 1 million. Include us, do this, do this, do this. 1 million is not what they would do if they had to go all out marketing and making their own YouTube channel and making their own content and recording their own videos and so on. They would have a big budget. And so it's usually a win-win for third parties to come in and do that and so on. I mean, there are companies who have that money. Like, look at Trade Kings. Trade Kings has money for marketing all out. But there are smaller companies who they don't have that much budget. But if they can have product placements here and there, placements every little.
You should approach Trade Kings. I'll probably edit this part so that they watch this video and say, I think you've been. But Trade Kings, I mean, look at what Simon is doing with Vatra. I'm not sure.
Simon is big. I saw. Simon is big, and so in fact, a number of people have come to Simon. There's a company which was promoting hand washing, so they went to him. So I'm sure Trade King saw that. Okay, this is. I mean, I've only got 2,000. Trade Kings will be like,
but the thing that I seriously think there's a way you can make it big. No, not by the size of your following, but the quality of what you can do for them. I mean, if you really know, I think there's a way. There are some people on YouTube that have been following that. They only have less than 2,000 subscribers,
but
you see them on some of the biggest platforms in the YouTube or social media, YouTube being part of it. World. There's a huge conference called the Social Media Marketing World.
Oh, okay.
And you see them as speakers on those platforms because, I mean, this is a business. There's a back end. It's not just the number of followers you have.
Yes,
but
yes.
How you use those channels to promote whatever you're doing outside the platform. So that's how some people have.
I think for me, also, just to add on to what you've said, another of my advantages is my niche. There aren't many travel people at all. Tourism has a bit, but travel and tourism, in the way that I do it, there isn't too many people making travel videos talking about traveling and routes and the train, for example. You don't have anybody doing train videos and things like that. So. My niche I think I have that advantage as well. At least I could leverage that.
Sure. Or you can force their hand.
I mean, open roll on it, as the members say.
You can start doing reviews, and then just make yourself an expert on which bus to. Then you become the key. If Khumba says it's good because he's been using these buses. And of course, genuinely, I know you would do that. So that'll be really just. I mean, there are no reviews. That's the digital language now. If I see on Khumba, I see the reviews. If they are good, I assume it's good. Whether good or whether I don't know how you got them, but it's more like if I see the reviews are good, it's a good. That's the digital currency now. When we want to buy
is true. That is true.
We always run to the reviews. So you can just strategically start making content about travel reviews. It's cost this much. Is it worth your money going with this?
I've had a few people in my inboxes coming in saying, "Oh I saw your video, so I'll definitely use this service. Oh, I saw your video, so I'll try it out." So there is. There is an audience out there who are watching or who want advice or who want they don't know. So I mean, locals, locals, especially those who've traveled, they've begun to develop their own preferences for one reason or
Yeah,
the other. A number
sure.
of them, they're like, oh, I like this service, or I like this provider, or I used this bus, I didn't have a good experience, and so on. And so they begin to, but there's still a very big audience out there, both local and international, who have no idea. So they
Yeah,
want a piece of advice. They want somebody to tell them, oh, what's the pros of using this? What's the cons of using this? And
yeah,
so on. So
yeah.
that opportunity is there as well.
Yeah, true. Especially that there's safety now, which is always a big issue in our
A
buses and
concern,
all.
yes. Yes,
So
yes, yes.
it's not just the quality of the services, but also the
Yeah.
issue to do with
How safe is
safety
it? Yeah.
and and which bus does what to ensure that. Like when I came back, I was visiting for some time. I was quite shocked that someone got in a bus and then started asking us to give numbers, someone they can call.
Hmm.
Now, before I
Hmm.
left, that was not being done. You
Yes,
know,
yes, 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 yes.
so why are we giving? Of
The
course, I had to think, but why are we giving numbers?
yeah. So now there's the manifest. Every company needs. In fact, that's now a law by RATSA. Every bus before it leaves intercity or whatever, it must have a manifest, a list of all the passengers, next of kin, and so on and so forth, just in case of anything. It used to be something in the international routes for the South Africa buses, but
Yeah,
not even the local buses. So now they have you put next of kin in case anything happens. So the whole list, all the passengers and rats and the police actually on some of the roadblocks, they ask for a manifest and so on. So yeah, it has come now. Yo, it has come.
I think that's sad.
Well, it's helpful. I experienced it on my trip to Chipata. I never included it in my video. Before we got to Luangwa, a woman passed out.
Yeah,
She actually, luckily, she was traveling with a small kid. We don't know what was wrong with her, and she had driving in the bus, and so I think one of the passengers sitting said, "Chan Chan." So I was sitting in front. So
yeah,
the conductor lady, she came to the front of the driver. Oh, Kumbuyo at the back. There's somebody who is. We don't know if she's dead or we don't know what has happened, but she's not waking up. So they shook her, they shook her. I don't know how someone realized that she's not waking up or something. So the bus driver was like, "No, we'll be reaching Luangwa soon." So after 5 minutes, they're like, "Look, this person it is looking serious." So we stopped in the middle of the road. We got her out. Some women held her. We stopped by the side of the road. They were outside. Like, Selenko, let's put some air. Shanshan, no, she's got a pulse, so she's breathing. So after about 10 minutes or so, finally, she came to, not even 10. It could even have been 20 minutes. So by that time, the little kid, I don't know if the kid managed to open the phone or the phone was there or she knew a number. They had managed to call someone and so on. Then eventually they were able to, well, she did wake up. So she said, no, I have this condition, so on and so on and so forth. So at least they were able to do something. So in the event that something like that happens,
yeah,
it's always good that you have someone, a next of kin, to say, look, your person here, we're in Kabwe, or we're here, we can't proceed. Can you advise us? Should we leave them here? We've dropped them off at the hospital, or we've
yeah,
done this, or is there something we should do to help them? Is there a condition they have? Then quickly, at least you can address the situation. So
yeah,
it's an interesting development in the travel industry.
yeah. True, true. I think that being said, I probably take it back. But
Yeah.
my point of reference was, or what came to my mind was, oh, this is related to accidents. That's the first thing that came to
Yes.
my mind.
Yeah, primarily I think it was because then someone dies and nobody knows for 2 weeks or something like that. And the body
Yeah,
is somewhere and things like that, especially. And I think also this started with international routes. South Africa route always has that. You give them
yeah,
your passport number, you give them a next of kin in case something happens while you're out of the country. The company
yeah,
can call somebody. And people really start panicking. No, was my person on that bus? And they start calling the company. So if they have a list, it's easier. So yeah, it's I think it's a helpful development.
yeah. So that
Mhm.
was really a shock for me. But of course,
But I mean, like you said, the way you said it, somebody comes into the bus and starts getting numbers. There also has come a situation where many companies have uniforms for identity because there's a lot of theft, there's a lot of fraud. There are people who say I'm a representative of the company and things like that. Even today, actually, people say, no, I work for the company. Especially now that people are sending parcels on the bus and so on. You find someone gets your parcel and says, oh, it will be in Quito this afternoon. I work for this company. And someone is like, my parcel hasn't arrived. They're like, who did you give it to? No, I gave it to a Mulenga. No, who's Mulenga? No, we don't have Mulenga in Lusaka. No, we don't. And problems like that have come up, so especially when there's random strangers. So it's very important now for companies to make sure they have uniform, they have official employees, and communication goes through official systems. Companies are learning that nowadays, bit by bit, especially in the quest to improve their services. So yeah.
Wow, that's really good. But imagine if I could just go to some, maybe in the future, if you say the Khumba Guy, so which bus should I go when I'm in Zambia? So Lusaka route, this is why you should use them. If you're sending something, there's a review about, you should use this because this is how they ensure that your parcel is
safe. Yeah. All those I should do some of that courier, a review of courier services and stuff.
Yeah, true. Ideally, I mean, like where content marketing is a big thing, like in the US, it's like companies are now making a lot of videos about their services. It has become a really big thing. Or they would hire a big YouTuber or someone to just come and create those contents that companies don't really think of. But you can easily sell their
brand,
and services and all that.
Also, one thing I know is that people don't always want to hear a company talk about itself, because for sure it's going to say good things. So people always want third-party reviews from somebody who's you have nothing to lose or nothing to gain. You don't work for that company. Anyone who works for that company says, come to our company. We're always on time. We always make sure your things are good. Everyone will say that. So people are always skeptical about hearing an advert from an owner. Everyone will praise himself. So third parties become very. I know a YouTuber who does 4x4, Andrew St. Pierre White. He does 4x4 reviews. So he's like, I only promote something because I use it. I'm not paid for these people by these people. I'm not this and that. I'm not this and that. So I only talk about a product because I think it's good. And if I get brand sponsorship or brand whatever, it's not because the brand is just giving me money, but it's because it's a brand I already know. Like for me, I mean, like I gave you, I've got those preferred operators. Okay, if they called me and said, Kumlani would like you to do this, I'd be like, yes. Not because I've seen, they'll be paying me every month or they'll be giving me this to make videos for them, because it's a service I use. And it's a service. It would be very hard to decline if a company I don't like came to me and said, Kumlani would be giving 2,000 kwacha every month. That's usually very difficult. But I think personally, I'd want to stick with my morals and say, look, I don't really like your brand. I wouldn't even recommend it. I'm not saying it's very bad, but I've got my own reasons. So I want to decline this. But so it's very hard when you have money dangling, but that's where integrity comes in, and that's where people should build their branding. If you want to become an influencer, if you want to have credibility, they should say, okay, the Khumba Guy will give me genuine information, because this is not just about him making money or him winning approval from these service providers and so on. So it's something we all think of.
Yeah, that's really true, and I think it's also something that is really needed. I'm beginning to think that maybe with the rise of people like Vamwewa, maybe we'll start seeing more of people that provide different content and then getting sponsorship. Because what I noticed in Zambia is like there was a lot of comedians.
Yes,
and they do get deals. And for me, maybe my bias is because I'm trained as a marketer. So when I see some of the adverts, I'm like, please don't do that.
You know it from a professional point of view, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, please don't do that, because it's like, ndom kashana shani
Eh,
tafina
eh,
tete such
eh, eh.
advert tip that shan you call bricks shani buy those
I
blocks.
once I once went to an operator and I said, look, I do advertising, so I'd like to advertise your bus. And they agreed. So I was very clear in telling them my format. Because actually the reason I went to them was because I'd seen they had done something on Facebook before. So I was like, okay, these guys are into social media
Yeah.
and so on. But the adverts, the typical, when you say I want to do a video advert for you, people think, okay, 30-second advert or 1 minute advert, a lot of fancy jokes and whatever. So I was like, okay, look, the format of my videos is a whole trip review. I travel and I talk about the journey and I talk about this, and I make sure I showcase if it's the bus, I make sure I take clips of the bus as it's passing. In the whole, by the time the video is over, somebody would have seen the bus, would have learned one or two things, and the whole video would have advertised itself. So I always like to, because I mean, there are comedians who are not, they're not into any specific industry. They're not into transport. They're not into food. But it's like, I mean, look at Difficult and Bikilon. Trade Kings will call them. They can do something very fancy. Lafarge will call them and they'll do something about cement. They'll go and do whatever industry it is, because they're known as comedians. They can easily laugh about and make an advert about something just by putting in. So I was like, okay, look, I'll advertise for you, but my format is in this way, and this is, and so on. So, I mean, catchy songs, jingles, those always ring in your head and they remain, and they're good for TV and they're good. But I think it's nice to also have different form factors, like formats, like that, like I do.
Yeah, and for me, it's my firm belief that I think you have a great opportunity. I think in the next, if you play your cards right, in the next 1, 2, 3 years, I think you'll be paid to make those tours. But of course, what I've seen is your passion is the traveling. You're really passionate about what you do. And yeah, so it's the primary thing, and which is even great because that means the chances of compromise. Because some people, I don't know if you followed some YouTubers when they were growing, and then once it's like for content creators, there's a ceiling. Once you hit that ceiling, then it's like
it just
whatever
becomes
brings in the papers.
yes. Keep the channel active and keep
yeah. So it's very difficult to to continue.
There's a WhatsApp group of Zambian Youtubers, so there's always been discussion and so on. So there was a point early this year, if you remember, Sia1 started that bring back my rings thing. So every time he make a statement, he'll say, oh, today I'll make an announcement, I'll go live and so on. So what was happening, a lot of YouTubers, those who are just, people would encourage YouTubers and say, look, Sia1 is trending. If you make a Sia1 video and say, what Sia1 said about bring back my ring, it would really go viral. Your video will go, you get the views, you get the watch hours, you get what, and it was very true. You do a video about Sia1, and Sia1 was, it was a cash cow. He was really helping YouTubers, every day, 2 days, 3 days later, he does something. You put that on your YouTube channel, it's good to go. You put that, and then Chela Tukuta came, and then this issue came. So there's always something trending, which is happening. But it was very tempting, especially for those who are not yet monetized. They're searching for watch hours, you want views, you want subscribers. But then I was like, for me personally, I was like, look, you guys, I can't do that. I can't. First of all, it's not I've got a niche. Even if it looks very lucrative, it looks very attractive, I can't do that. Secondly, I don't know how to talk about some of these things. Some of these things are for lack of a better term, they're like gossip stories, you know. Oh no, Chill is going out with a new girl. Even recently there was Your Maps. No, Your Maps has divorced his girl. What's her name? Whatever, I have forgotten her name.
Some
So
kanji something.
yes, so no, Your Maps. What? So all those. I'm like, what commentary will I mention about some of these? I have no idea what to say. You know, I have no backstory about when they started talking. I'd want to have all that information. I've got no story of who dated who before him, so I would be a very bad trending person. So I'm happy that I've got a niche. I'm happy that I've got a niche which I love, which I'm very competent about. I know, and I can make good videos about it. So for me, it's just sticking into that and doing more and exploiting that industry. And I'm happy it's an industry which, especially the tourism element, or even the travel, but the tourism element, it's an industry where you deal with people outside the country. They want to see destinations, they want to see this place, and they want to visit. So it's an industry which still has a lot of potential and opportunity.
If I'm quite passionate about tourism as well. I didn't know much about travel, which is probably most people, but I'm really happy. So I've been paying attention with tourism and how it's been developing, including where I am here. I'm quite in 2013. I was in a competition where one of the the tourism agency here. Actually, it's quite embarrassing. I don't know the name of the tourism agency. There's Let's Explore. I don't know if that's their campaign, but I don't know the ones in charge of.
In Zambia, you mean?
Yeah, in Zambia.
Zambia Tourism Agency, ZTA.
Okay, do they have? Yeah, I know about ZTA, but do they have a board that is in charge specifically with the promotion of, or are they the ones, ZTA?
It's just them. It's just them.
Okay. Then I thought there was a specific.
No, it's under Ministry of Tourism and Arts. So there's ZTA under the ministry.
True. That's one of my favorite places. Each time they had a stand at the trade fair, I always visit them. So I've been following them for some time. I wish they did more. Personally, I'm more impressed with what the airport does. I think they've done a brilliant job
on their Facebook thing.
Yeah, Facebook, social media. I think they've really done. I'm not sure about YouTube, but they've done a really good job.
They have a very good girl doing their social media, so she's very consistent, bringing up a lot of things. So
yeah, true. In 2013, there's the ones in charge, the ZTA of the Faroe Islands. They're called Visit the Faroe Islands. They've done a really good job. So they had a competition where they wanted the problem they were trying to solve is when we bring in people, we don't know what they should do. So once we have them in, we would love them to participate because, people travel for experience. So you want them not to go to a place, you want them to experience things.
So
I participated in that competition and our team won.
Oh, okay.
But at that time, I didn't have the papers to work here. So
okay.
That, yeah. And then when I came back, some of the ideas we had, they had the agents had grown so much that some of the services we're planning to provide, we might have to compete with them, and they were so good. You'd have to spend more or become more creative to compete with them. So I've also been quite interested in the tourism side, and that's why, of course, that's probably one of the reasons I love your channel, because you go some of the places, some of the details, and like I've been to Livingston, and for me, I was actually very disappointed. When I was in Livingston, I was actually very disappointed because growing up, I think it was basic school. There was a teacher that painted this picture of how can you be Zambian and not go to Livingston, kind of.
Yes.
One of the things that you have to do as a Zambian, you have to go to Livingston. So when time came to go to Livingston, I had that the back of my head. Oh, Livingstone, the Livingstone. Of course, there's the falls, but then once I was there, especially after you see the falls, you go through those routes. I mean, it's awesome. It's
Yes.
very beautiful. But I think there's room to do a better story, the whole place.
Mm,
It's like you
mm.
have to hunt for information.
Yes, 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 yes.
So if you make a Livingston trip, you go to the falls, unless you are well read, well informed,
Mm.
you don't come back from the actual place with more information than someone who has spent time reading a book. Probably they
Reading,
were more
yes,
informed
yes.
than you are. Even
Than
the
you,
people,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Other places they're more, So
Yes,
what I
that
did
I
was,
think
when I came back from that trip, I went to their stand. I think they when they have a trade fair, they usually have it with the airlines. It's the same.
mhm,
They
mhm.
have a cultural house, but then the airlines as well. They have it together. So I went to them and said, "What's happening? Why is it that? I mean, when you are there, that's many years ago. Why it seems so boring."
Yeah.
Their explanation was, "Oh, this is a heritage site. We can't
Mhm.
just start changing things." But somehow I think there should be something where you tell a better story, because that's a very beautiful place. I mean, it's one of the
Yes,
seven wonders of the world, or at least it's
yes, yes,
promoted as one of
yes,
the seven
yes,
wonders
yes.
of the world. So I don't know. You've been there several times. You probably have more experience. But that was my and up to now, I still have that. I think I still need to go and convince them that we need to tell a better story of one of the most beautiful places in our country.
So, so when you go into the falls, when you go into the falls area, there are a few places where you find some, I don't know what you call them, my placards, not billboards. Billboards are big, but my write-ups here
Yeah,
and there. Unless you have a tour guide, there are tour guides who give you the geology. Oh, this place was shiny.
mhm.
But there are a few places here and there, if you pay attention, there are a few places where there's a bit of information, like even the Knife Edge Bridge. There's a
Yeah,
small plaque about the Knife Edge Bridge. It was opened here and there, and so on and so forth. But like you've said, if I actually go to a place, I should get more information than somebody who is just reading. Because I mean, there is stuff you can read,
yeah,
but being there should give you a lot of opportunities. I mean, there are things which you'd want, like when was this started? When was this first Shanshan? I mean, just being in Livingston, there are things which people don't know. How old it is, that it was the capital headquarters, that it was the capital city of Zambia. Where can I find that information?
yeah.
I mean, there's the museum, of course, but
Mm,
there's no. I don't know if there's a gallery about Livingston itself. So even just walking through town,
mm,
there should be places where maybe like there's a park where you can sit, and around the park there are a few just
mm,
a little information here and there. So just walking through town, seeing different places, you should be able to learn and say, oh, this
mm.
building was this, oh, this is that, and so on. That is true though about the railway museum. Sorry
Yeah.
about this, my eye is itching. The railway museum within Livingston, I visited it, and it's very interesting.
Mm,
It's very very interesting because there's a lot of history about the railways, how Rhodesia Railways, and then now it changed to Zambia Railways and Mulobezi sawmills. So just
mm,
visiting the railway museum, you will, besides seeing the old trains, the steam trains, and so on and whatnot, you will learn a lot. So for me, like you have said, that is very key um, in the whole experience, and that should be replicated in the other sites and in the other places. We should have that type of thing
mm.
around all the different attractions, tourist attractions within Livingston and around the world and around the country.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, I've been to some of the places here when they're also the thing about here is like it's a constant discussion. So they're holding seminars. I've seen you in some of the something about storytelling.
Mhm.
So probably a number of people that are active trying to learn how to tell better stories. And yeah, I just saw you post something. I don't know if it was for if there's a
Travel
group of
massive.
people
Travel
Sorry.
Massive. Travel Massive. It's called Travel Massive.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like a group of is there a community of people creating tourism content
Yes.
in
So
Zambia?
Travel Massive was started in Australia. So it's a global thing.
Hmm.
So it's just like-minded people interested in travel and whatever. So every now and again they meet either online or physically to discuss various issues and
Yeah.
their events. So the event this year, I think it was February or March, I don't remember. So the theme of the event this year was tell your story or storytelling in tourism, something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
storytelling
yeah,
in tourism. That's what caught my
storytelling
eye.
and
I spent
yeah.
some time studying stories. I was like, oh yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, so it was interesting thing and how people tell stories and how you use storytelling to promote tourism or in the tourism industry and so on. So yeah, it was a good. So Travel Massive is a very global community. So they have different chapters in each country, Zambia chapter, Lusaka chapter, whatever it is, and all over. So yeah, that was what it was.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, we've actually been talking for an hour.
Time flies so fast when you're having fun.
This is,
I
this is
don't-
really
we didn't even follow the script.
no, 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 no. Yeah, but it's been awesome. It's interesting to
Yeah,
hear about what you're doing. I'm so excited to see the future of how we use digital platforms to promote
yeah.
various things that we're doing. That's something that
It's very,
if you see it's like my journey to social media mastery. I've forgotten what I've written. So as I want to create a platform where I can share stories, just meet
mm, mm,
like-minded people. Yeah,
mm. It's
I
still a
think.
new social media, especially content creation, is still growing, a new and growing thing in Zambia.
Mhm.
We're consumers. I mean, even TV, we don't have so many Zambian film. I know a lot of people do a Zambian tag and they ask, "What's your favorite Zambian movie?" And they're like, "I don't know." There haven't been a lot of Zambian movies. There've been comedies here and there, but no movies. But even on YouTube, there hasn't been a lot of Zambian content. We consume content, but then what has been very mainstream has been Facebook. So,
Yeah.
like one of the interviews I had, like the interview I had with someone where
Mm,
he was saying, "What do you think about YouTube in Zambia?" So I was saying, "Look, it's growing.
mm,
It's growing. We have a lot of people watching YouTube, but we have a very growing community of content creators. People are opening YouTube channels and trying to make more content, but we're still very far away.
mhm,
Wikipedia have what they call Wiki Loves Africa,
mm.
and so on. So they want a lot of people to be contributors to Wikipedia. So you go into Wikipedia, some of these countries, there's a page for everything in that country, a page for this town, a page for this town. But we as Zambians don't contribute to
It's so
Wikipedia as
bad.
much. We don't put pictures and so on. So there's a big void. So a lot of clips. I mean, like a lot of clips I take, I'd want to share them.
Mhm.
This place, this bus station, this train station, and so on. You can't find information about that. So there's still a lot of work because there's a
Yeah.
guy who started his YouTube channel and he showcases the different towns. So he did the Siavonga, he did Kafue, he went to Ndola, he did Chingola, he did Luansha, he did Muflira. So each episode or each video is a different town and just a quick overview.
Mhm.
Funny though, he was like, "I'm the one who inspired him." Like, yeah, you inspired me because I saw you. I was like, "Oh, I'm already being an inspiration to other people." That's very nice.
You should have him on the show.
I should actually. I should. That's a good point. I haven't done my talk show, my live chat thing in quite a bit.
I think when you did that, I thought that was interesting. When you remember when you started doing the live,
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes.
I've noticed a trend. A lot of big YouTubers are now making live content. So like what we've done,
Hmm.
and then they
Yes,
chop
yes,
it up because they're very busy. I mean, they
yes.
make a lot of content. It seems like they live on YouTube, but they don't. So what they do is now they make long form content. So you find like 3 hours, and then they chop it up, and then
okay. And they
so
do
so
like
when,
4 videos out of that one long
so like
live
when
stream.
I ask you what's the story of the Khumba Guy, I would just chop that up and then make
Yeah,
it.
10-minute, make a 10-minute video
Yeah.
out of that,
Oh
and then
yes.
yeah,
So that's the thing about content marketing. It's like you cut a lemon, you have to use everything, the juice, you use the
the rind, yeah,
flavor and everything.
yes.
That's seeds you plant for. Yeah. I
I,
think you
I
should
like
have
that.
them on the show.
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
call them. I think I'll start calling them one by one. Most of my
Yeah.
live streams were always open, and I'll just share the link and say, guys, I'll have a live stream. Come on. But I think I'll have specific, like
Yeah.
you've done, and said, look, I'd like to have you on my live stream.
Yeah.
For this time, we'll talk about this, and this,
Yeah.
and so. But what you've talked about is interesting because, in all the videos I do, I like to keep backup of my other videos. I want to have those videos.
Mhm.
So, like the most recent video I did, Livingstone, Victoria Falls, wet or dry.
Mhm.
That was from trips I had done before. The dry season clip was a video I did in 2018, which is online as well. The February one was the one I did in February. So that was literally I made a video from old content,
Yeah.
from videos which are already there. So I'm getting watch hours from videos which already have made. It's like reused content, I'm reusing my own content, and
Yeah. Or
so yeah,
remade.
those are remade. Yeah, just repackage it here and there.
Connected to tell a different
A
narrative.
different story. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I've
that's
seen
interesting. I should.
most of the YouTubers actually make a collection of these because some of them they've got footage and then they do a voiceover. That's how they do it.
Yes.
So they use it as B-roll. So while they're talking, so my challenge is for me because it's like I study these things. It's like I know too much but done too little. So what I want to do is the doing so that I can catch up with the knowing.
Yes. Some of us have been doing what we don't know.
I think you've been doing a
So
great job. So those
we're
people,
trying.
just call them and have a chat. And
It's funny that you mentioned.
yes, yeah. Go ahead.
No, finish your line of thought
Yeah. My
before you forget.
line of thought is there's a guy called Michael Porter who talks about strategy and how certain industries grow. And one of the theories he comes up with that it's better for if you have a cluster, if certain companies are in the same place, whether they are competing or not, that's how fast the industry grows. Like, for example, if you've noticed most of the shopping malls, you have competing fast food or eating places in the same place. The whole idea is you want more people to come and then compete on the quality of service or the brand, but you don't have to compete on who's bringing people. No, you create this idea of people coming to a place.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you can start connecting those people and be the one that
Who's
connects them,
bringing them together? Yes.
soon you
I mean,
won't be making money from your ads. You'll be making money from the guy that holds events about. So people pay you to come, and then you can teach them how to do that. Yeah, that's how people are now making money.
I mean, it's what you're saying is true because I don't know how many people have leveraged that. It's like people who have talk shows. He doesn't do anything, but he invites people who are doing something. It's like Smooth IK, for example. He's a journalist. He works for ZNBC.
Yeah.
But today, or Grevazio Zulu. So Grevazio Zulu's talk show, Sunday interview, is so popular. But Grevazio himself doesn't do anything. So you invite this big politician, you invite this big minister, you invite this big one. So the star of your show is not you, but the people you invite, so people come. So it's even possible for someone to have a tourism show who doesn't do tourism, but knows who's in tourism. So you call this lodge owner, you call this person, you call this transporter, you call this operator. So you have a very big tourism show, but like this guy doesn't even. So it's for us, for me who's in there already, it even makes it easier because at least even both. So then both your guest and you are both knowledgeable about that, but you are the hub for all these things. So you've got
So
double.
now I'm thinking that maybe probably you can start a show about the people moving Zambia or moving Zambians, and you can invite. Then you can interview most people, like the bus operators,
I
airlines as
could,
well. So
yeah, yeah, you know,
those
I could
people.
invite them and say, look, I have a show where I talk about travel and so on. Would like you to talk about that.
I
They
know
would
there
come and try
are
to
Zambian
promote
companies
their
that do a really good job. Like what's this airline? I've seen them on the
mahogany. There's mahogany and Proflight.
those. You can be
Yes,
the guy.
yes.
I mean, they go to Simon, and this is the thing in Zambia. It's like they find what works, and they all go there, whether his service
Yes, yes,
industry or not.
yes,
And
yes,
that's
yes.
for me. I think if you really stay on it, you could easily become the biggest in what you're doing, because no, I don't know the other guy and what he's doing, but if you get, like, for example, the business side of it, and you first,
B2B.
first movers advantage, you could easily
Mm,
become. There's so many
mm.
opportunities. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. You're getting my blood moving. Anyway, I wanted to talk about B-roll. You know, there's a
yeah.
video I did,
Hmm.
um, Chingola to Lusaka.
Mhm.
So I had a clip. So I recorded, I traveled to Lusaka, but then I was back in Chingola, and because I know some of these guys, so I knew when the bus was coming. So I
Yeah.
went to, I don't know if you know where that Welcome to Chingola roundabout
Yeah.
is. So I went there and I took a clip of the bus on a different day. It was going back to Lusaka. So I took a clip of it coming, and it passed and it went and so on. So when I was editing my video,
Hmm.
normally my videos, I'm in the bus and showing the route and so on. But then I had that clip of the bus from outside. So
Mhm.
I included it in there and then so a lot of people asking me, how did you do that? Did you get out of the bus, then tell them to wait for you, and then you jump on the bus again, or did you have someone else recording? So I was like, oh yeah. So it's somewhere around that time where I learned about B-roll
Mhm.
and so on. So I was like, oh yeah, B-roll is good, and you can use it here, and it's used in interviews. You can know, as you're talking about something, you provide footage about it and different things like that. So I actually started learning. So where you said you had learned things and now you're doing from experience, I'd done things, but then I was learning what they are. I was like, oh, so what I did was, I
Yeah.
know B-roll. You know, I'm sharp. You know, you start learning a lot of these things
Yeah.
afterwards. You know, so I actually
I,
been planning a video where I talk about B-roll, where I talk about video editing, where I talk about few tips for YouTube. So I should do it one day. It's been a long time coming.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about all these things in the context of. Uh, I saw that you guys held a party for Lily. She just hit
Mm.
100.
100,000.
No
Yes,
joke.
yes. Lily went big. Lily went big. Yeah.
How was that party? I mean, it's. I don't know if she's the
So
first
Lily,
Zambian, but as far as I know, she is the first Zambian that has hit.
she said she's the first Zambian, but
Mhm.
then there was somebody who posted about a Zambian who does hair, but I think she's based in the USA. She's
Mhm.
done over 100, but I don't know if she's ever mentioned that she's a Zambian or that she's a Zambian YouTuber. I checked her channel. There isn't any of that
Yeah,
active
I
Zambian stuff. So I don't know if she is a Zambian and
yeah.
so on.
Sometime back, I saw someone identified as a Zambian who holds some boutique,
Mhm.
and then there was a very famous guy talking. Uh, I've forgotten the guy who's in Fast and Furious.
Mhm. Mhm.
Was sort of shot a video about her.
Oh.
I don't know how big she is on social media, but she's big.
Oh,
There's
okay.
some of the big, yeah. So uh, maybe there are some Zambians, but they don't just identify.
As Zambian YouTubers, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the
Well,
really has going for her. And
so
I met,
Lily came last. Yeah,
sorry.
finish
Yeah, I
up,
met
please.
Lily at the point where, the disgruntled youth thing was really blowing up. So it's quite
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
recent for me.
Yes.
She's
Oh,
been
okay.
for some time, but that's the time I met her, and I actually
Oh, okay.
featured on her show.
Oh,
when
okay.
she had my neighbor's Mumba.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Because
so that
she was using StreamYard and she was inviting guests and people to
yeah
come in. Eh?
yeah. I've never had a chance to meet her in person, but I was only,
Mm,
I guess. But I was just evaluating, doing my research, going through almost every Zambian YouTuber I could meet. So I
mm,
have watched almost everyone, and I've
mm.
seen the good, the bad, and the ugly.
So Lily started. In fact, she had a few videos on DSTV on One Gospel.
Wow.
She's done some gospel songs and so on. She started there,
Mhm.
but then she then moved into the trending sphere, the trending
Yeah.
videos sphere. So trending really helped her. I
Mhm.
always say because she really rode on things like Sia One. She was always on top of her game.
Mhm.
She does this, she talks. She does this, she talks, and even things like Venezuela Tukuta. All those that time she was really on all those videos. And then even politics, she was very brave enough to get in there because she was outside of the country. Most of
Mhm.
us here would be like, I start doing this. Next thing you see PF cadres coming for me. You'll be scared to walk in town. But she had that advantage. She was outside. She was in the UK. She was far away and safe,
Mhm.
uh, and so on. So she was very brave enough to talk about them and do that. And she grew. Before I even say she did this, she did a video about why Nigerian men love something Zambian
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
African women or something. That one made her very big in Nigeria.
Ah.
So that's where a lot of her, this is where she boomed. When she
Mhm.
made that, she met 1 or 2 millionaires from there. There was some millionaire man who watched that video, even sent her some money. She's shared some of these stories
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
her
Yeah. Yeah.
channel.
I've met some of them. Yeah.
Uh, so that Nigerian video actually really did her well.
Mhm.
And then Zambia as well. So just the topic, she talks about this, and she covers a few different countries. So she really grew her audience, and she grew. And then all these Zambia things came, and a lot of politics and the disgruntled youths thing, all that, and she really had she grew. It was massive for her. Really, it was really massive, and she
Yeah.
has a big following. Even when I made that 100K video,
Mhm.
at comments, and people say, "Oh, we love Lily in
Mhm.
this country," and so on. So
Mhm.
she's really done well. She started one of the groups. There's one of the groups I'm in on WhatsApp. She started it. There was a time she was coming to Zambia. I think it was last year. So she was like, "Oh, I want to Zambia. I want to meet Zambian YouTubers. What?" So she started the group. That's where I got to know other YouTubers,
Mhm.
Zambian YouTubers. I never knew them. She started the group. I was supposed to meet her that time. I never did. So when she came this time for the party, that's when I met her. So she hosted the party herself. Um,
Mhm.
Paid for the one in Kitwe, paid for this one here, and so on.
Oh,
So
she
she
had.
did well, and she
Oh,
pardon?
she did one in Kitwe.
Yeah, she did one in Copper Belt. The plan started for Lusaka. So others were like, no, you should also come here. We also shine. So she planned the Kitwe one. So the Kitwe one was a week before, the
Mhm.
previous weekend before the Lusaka one, which
Ah.
was very nice. So
Mhm.
she hosted both of them, and she's been because YouTube is doing her well. Her pocket is heavy, you know.
Really?
So yeah. I mean, 100K subs is not a small thing, and the views she gets and whatever. You grow your YouTube, that can be a full-time job, you know.
Yeah.
So she's really getting good money from YouTube, and she hosted
Yeah.
that. She's a nice person, you know. Even in teaching people, helping people about YouTube, is a good person. I'm sure. I mean, of course, she's stepped on a lot of people's toes. I know a few people who are not. Ah, no, really, she's like this, but that's life, really. So
Mhm.
she did a good job. And now that she's one of the biggest, she's very much advocating and encouraging people. No, do YouTube. Look at us. YouTube. You can really go big. You can do this, and she's a big advocate of people doing YouTube.
Mhm.
So, but yeah,
I
she's an
didn't I,
interesting
I
person.
didn't see politics coming though. Uh, I when
Yeah, no, she looked she did a lot of trending, but politics didn't. Okay, she did start at some point dabbling into topics because, again, from my assessment, politics was also bringing in views. There's a lot of politics would make you do a politics video, you get views, you get watch time, and so on. So it was a popular thing, and so she kind of fell into that somehow or the other, I guess. So
why I've struggled starting my YouTube channel is because if you go, for example, on Instagram and Facebook, one of the things I write as my main focus of the channel is promoting servant leadership in Africa, or specifically Zambia. And one of the key things I'd love to talk about is politics. But I haven't, apart from news, I haven't found, or there are very few people that talk about politics in a way that you're like, And when I found Lily, I thought that was quite interesting. Some of the things I was part of that she was promoting was not focusing on any, not promoting any of the platforms, or I mean the political parties. Yeah, I mean she had Vaneva Smumba on, so that was MFT, and she was against some of the things that were coming from the PF, and yeah, so that was the platform that she had created, and for me, I thought, wow, I think this probably could be an interesting platform where people can have views, and you would find people from all over the world coming and joining the chat and all that. And then I heard about the UPND. So for me, UPND, when that happened, I was like, oh, Lily. Yeah, but I've grown to respect her, and I wish her well. Maybe one day I can be her consultant, because there's some of the things I've seen with her channel that I wish she could either stay away from because of how big she has become, or start focusing on, because she's already big now, and you see it a lot with some of the YouTubers. Some of them, they're already doing it in order to become that big.
Yes.
Now, for me, I think maybe she might have to start doubling on those things because she's already big. Maybe the context of our audience, Africa or Zambia, might be more forgiving with some of the things that are on our channel, and I'm deliberately trying to speak in general terms, because some people can use it against her because she's in politics.
Yes.
Yeah. If she was just merely a YouTuber, maybe I could mention it, but she's a politician now. So
once you get on politics, people look for any little loophole, any piece of dirt they can use. So it's very easy.
Yeah, what scared me the most is that she did some of the things after she announced that she's a politician. Then I've seen things. I'm like, please, Lily, if you know her, maybe I can tell you after the conversation, and you can just hint to her as a way of protecting her, because I mean she's one of the young. I don't know how old she is, but she's one of the young person representing the younger generation. So it would be really good if she can protect herself, especially that YouTube is one of her sources of income, whether they're politics or not. Because she'll go back to it. And she's a great inspiration to some of us. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting journey. It's been interesting seeing people grow, seeing how different it's been for people. And I try to encourage people. I mean, it took me in 1 year, I only got to about 200 subscribers, 250, 270 or something, not more than 300 from January to December. So I always see. And then after that, by April, I had 500. By April, I had 500.
Yeah.
Which was like the same amount. In 3 months, I got what I had in 1 year. And then April, May, June, July, I think by July, I had reached 1K, 1,000. So I was like, okay, again. So the growth started going. So I always encourage, especially those who are new YouTubers on the group, like, what should I do? I've only got 80. I'm only on 120. I'm like, you know what? Just enjoy the process. Do what you love and love what. That's the statement I always give them.
Yeah.
And so you can quote me on this. Do what you love and love what you do.
Yeah.
If you do that, you won't really be bothered as much by numbers. Because if all you do is numbers, I need to get this, I need to do this, you're going to stress out. But if you enjoy what you do, even if numbers are not growing as fast as you're hoping, you still continue enjoying it. Like I'm sharing this because I'm enjoying it, and eventually, if you're consistent and you can produce good content, sooner or later you will start seeing those numbers. It may take a while. Like me, it took a whole year. There are people who started and I'm on 400 in just 2 months. I'm like, some of us 400 took us 12, 13 months, man, over a year. And
Yeah.
you see, especially when you see people growing much faster, double, quadruple, they're multiplying. What's going on? Why is it? I haven't had a new subscriber in 3 days. They're like, hey, sure, man, that's life. It happens. So I've started becoming an encourager to people, especially because I always encourage, I don't want people to jump on trending videos. So what began happening was people just started talking about trending, which usually was controversial things. I'm an advocate for well, not that that's not progressive, but authentic creative content. Things which are positive, shed a positive. If you're out of the country and you Google what you hear about the news, Edgar Lungu said this, you go to YouTube and 10 YouTubers are talking about the same Edgar Lungu said this, or HH said this against Chan. You're like, guys, today I don't want to watch Edgar Lungu and HH. I just want to watch what's happening on Cairo Road, or I want to see what's happening in my hometown. You're like, but there are no videos from Chingola. There are no videos of Chimfunshi. How can I talk? You're chatting with your friend and you say, have you been South Longo? You look and you find there are no South Longo. So I'm like, you guys, I'll challenge you in each of your towns. Show us just the town center from your town, Then you'd have a video from at least every town in Zambia. You have a video of Mazabuka. Like, how does Mazabuka look? There's nothing. But there are YouTubers. They are busy posting about this story and that story. So I tell people, look, do genuine, interesting videos. And those videos won't grow you as fast as trending videos. Trending videos, you find that in 3 days, you've got 1,000 views, 200 subscribers just from one video. So tomorrow, if I do another video, that's another 150 subscribers. And you get lured in because of that growth. But don't do it just for the growth, just for the numbers. Do it because you love it. And I try to encourage people and say, look, that other process may be slow, may be long, but you're building a reputation, you're building a brand. How many companies will come to you because you are sharing your Maps' stories, or you are sharing Chela Tukuta's story? No, not many of them. So this is just another channel which talks about this. But if you have something you're doing, I have a friend, there's a girl, a Zambian Youtuber, Sekai, and she wants to become a public speaker. She talks about
I
this.
actually would love to meet her. I don't know, is it Sekai Together or something?
Sekai Together, yes. So she's like, no, me, I'm building my brand, Shanshan Yuko, and so on. I don't
Now
have to
those
do,
are serious YouTubers.
Yes. And she's pimped up her quality. She has the proper people recording her, and so I started watching some of her old videos before I even knew her. So she did the normal with my phones and so on. I was like, because she started from very far away, but now she has a proper video cameraman who records her with professional equipment and lights and everything. So you can see the quality in her videos right now.
She
and they edit her video.
Yeah, she seems very serious about that.
Yes. So because she goes to work, she's like, I'm always at work and so on. So I don't really have this time. So I think she has the cameraman who records her and edits her. So her videos are very high quality. They're top notch, And luckily she lives in a very nice house. So she's got the background and good places to record from and so on. So, people are working on brands rather than just working. Don't just work on your channel, work on a brand.
Interesting. And that's a thought. I mean, I've been struggling a lot. Should I start posting as a man or Mof Relay, which is the brand I'd love to build? So that's something. I know that people that know me are most likely going to Google Emmanuel, especially that I'm starting out. So for SEO, if people want to find me, I think it's really good that I build a digital footprint of Emmanuel, because
Yes.
but then I would love to build the Mofrele brand strategically, because
For many people, go ahead, finish because
because of where I'm going. So the end
yeah,
goal, I
yeah,
want this to be a brand that I can leverage into either a conference or a consulting.
whatever
So
it is, yeah,
that's the end goal. So I want to start
yes,
from that
yes,
perspective, where I know at the end in mind. I want people to call me. So I want you to help me with some strategic marketing or strategy
yeah.
in business. So that's the end goal, and I'd love it to be that.
It was for me. It was an interesting thought because when I started the Khumba Guy, it was just the Khumba Guy because
Yeah.
I'd been using the Khumba Guy
Mm.
as my social, just for general social media things before it was a platform. Before it was an official Khumba Guy travel and tourism. So just any little thing I had, if I had to open an account with, if I had a paid app and I wanted Shani, when you're on forums, on social media, you don't want to put your real name out there. So normally I'll just use the Khumba Guy. But when I started this thing, especially YouTube, I was like, okay, this would be my name. Eventually I saw that was an interesting thing because there was a difference between my page and my account. It's like Facebook, you have your fan page and your account. So there's Kumblani, who is still me, the Zafis person, we have been to school, my real friends. And then there's the Khumba Guy, who is the travel and tourism person. So I remember when I saw Sekai, and there's one or two other people as well. So she has her personal page, Sekai Tigere, and then she also has her other page, her fan page, the ones you like, which is now Sekai F Tigere. So now you don't know, is this her account or is this her fan page, and so on. So when you do a brand, it becomes easier. Then okay, this is Kumlani, this is the Khumba Guy. And so on. So at least even if I post two things in one day, be like, okay, this is Kumlani who posted, and so on. So at least you keep within Kumlani, I'm able to keep my personality, my family, my friends, and whatever. And then all those travel and whatever. There are times, I have to be honest, I don't know who watched this, but there are times where I meet people here and there, and then instead of just following the Khumba Guy, they send me a friend request. I'm like, I'm not your friend. I'm not technically your friend. Just follow the Khumba Guy and let's interact there. That's where we do the travel and tourism things. Here it's for people I know. It's my profile. It's my account. But yeah, a few people I accept, a few people I don't.
Maybe that might lead me into something I wanted to ask you: is how did you how do you use Facebook, if you do, to grow the Khumba Guy on YouTube? Because there is a theory that it takes a platform to grow another platform.
Platform, yeah.
And for me, I know that if I was to start making these videos on Facebook, I'll grow way faster than on YouTube. There's a reason why I want to do it on YouTube. It's because it has a longer shelf
lifespan. Yes.
Yeah. And that's one of the sad thing I think about some of the biggest channels like Lily's, where you start posting trending, because news kind of content
is short-lived. Yeah,
it's usually irrelevant when it's going on, unless you curate it and post it in a broader context.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I've chosen. So the struggle is, should I do this on Facebook because I know I'll grow, and then later take the
content
content or traction to YouTube, which is a strategy. So I'm just curious to find out how you're using.
So Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, I categorize them very differently. Well, they're all different. They're all social media, but they all have different strengths.
Yeah.
Instagram, we all know, is a picture-based service. It's basically pictures. YouTube is exclusively videos.
Video, yeah.
Facebook is a very flexible platform because you can post a video, can post pictures, and then you can also post write-ups. You know, there are times when I really want to write things and just put it in written form. So Facebook allows that. But when I do a lot of my video, most of my videos, I just throw them onto YouTube because I really wanted to build YouTube. Facebook, I like to write, and I do that, and so on. In terms of using one channel to grow another channel, I haven't done that much. I have advertised my YouTube on Facebook. I share links on Facebook and so on. I don't know how much traffic that has brought. But somebody actually mentioned and said, look, don't just rely on YouTube, do Facebook as well. Facebook actually pays as much, almost just like YouTube does and things like that. Someone was like, look, you could also have those streams and so on. And if you've noticed, there are people who have two channels. There's more, you post the same thing on Facebook and on YouTube. You get more interaction on Facebook than on YouTube. I was like, oh, really? And so on. So one thing I know about Zambia is that we've got so many Facebook users.
Yeah,
Zambia is Facebook is really has been adopted so much more than YouTube. Primarily because Facebook companies would give it for free Facebook and so on, and it's a very simple plan as opposed to videos. Videos, my bundles. You know, Facebook, you just go, you read to my texts, you read the people's posts and so on. It won't eat as much as, and then Instagram is also just so. Basically now what I'm doing is, because I've got a whole number, I've got over 50, 60, 80 videos which I've done on YouTube. I want to start posting the same video on Facebook, start populating Facebook. You see, YouTube has categories. You've got playlists and you can easily find videos, as opposed to Facebook, which puts them according to date. So a video I posted in January on Facebook, you'd have to scroll all the way down to January. Whereas in YouTube, you open YouTube and you look for a video, it will just be there, or you look it in whatever playlist you put it in, and you can easily find it. So in terms of video content, that's where YouTube and Facebook differ. But it's still something I want to try out and play around with. So I want to see how I can, because Facebook does videos, so just post those videos. For now, what I do with Instagram gives you the option to post to Facebook. So as you're posting it on Instagram, just select Facebook as well, then it posts it simultaneously. So in terms of pictures, that helps. But then I like to do some written content every now and again, a paragraph or 2 paragraphs, and share my thoughts. So Facebook is what offers that. But yeah, in terms of videos, I want to start cross-posting them on Facebook to see how they can do that.
Some people say on Facebook it's better to have conversations like this. So like, for example, if you were to have live streams on Facebook to promote the Khumba Guy YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you post the videos that you've made on Facebook, they might not perform as well as if you made a live stream and just sharing the story, where you can get people into that story and then you interact. Or, you know, those YouTubers that you'd love to, some of the people that are making similar content, you just love to interview them, see their process, how they tell their stories. If you could have that just as a side and then do it on Facebook, there'll be more people that will come on board. But then you are selling the Khumba Guy. You can have the link. So yeah, guys, I've noticed that there are so many people watching. If you haven't subscribed, please right now. I'm going to post the
link.
And then you can grow your subscriber base like that.
Yes. I do have, even now, I do have more subscribers, more followers on Facebook than on YouTube. So it's one thing I'd love to do, to take those Facebookers, bring them to YouTube.
Yeah. I actually discovered you after you had shared something that Khumba makes YouTube videos. Click.
And then it took you to YouTube. Oh, okay. Yeah. I've had a number of people on the other side as well say, can't you also have a Facebook page? So I really need to cross.
Yeah, but right now live stream is really good because all the companies are fighting to win the war. So who's going to live stream? Usually it's like Facebook when it introduces a new feature, then they want more people to use it.
Yes.
So they show it to more people. Then once you see it,
Okay.
then after some time now you won't have as much reach. You would have to pay to reach the same.
Yes, yes.
But the thing is, if you use that and your page becomes more interactive, like the Tayali and the Simons, where they do live streaming, people are commenting, then most of your content will be shown more, even older things.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And if
yes,
something
yes, yeah.
older is shown and somebody comments it, then it's revived. And so that's how
Yes,
yeah.
it
So that's how
keeps,
people are
yeah.
using so, yeah. So I've been thinking about Facebook, YouTube, but I think I'll try YouTube first. And for me, because I want to build a brand and not necessarily a channel, I think Facebook is something that I'll use because I'll probably gain more from the brand than I know a lot of Zambian YouTubers are so obsessed about the AdSense.
Yeah, monetization. Hey. And even Sekai says, and we encourage some of these guys, we're like, look, sometimes you make more money just from other things than just from YouTube. Don't put all your eggs in that one basket, Build a brand, and the brand will serve you much better than YouTube or than a channel. So
Yeah. And it's like what you were saying, all of them, it's like you find them if lungo, 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 lungo.
yes, because that's what's trending to bring me viewers.
Yeah. So up to now, for some channels, I don't know who runs them.
You've never seen them themselves, eh? You always just see.
And then one day someone is going to report them because of some of the things they are doing.
They've posted.
That's the sad part. All of it's like I think it's, but for some I watch them because that's one way I get news. They seem to be more active than some of the news providers.
Yes, exactly. I was saying, sorry to cut you short. I was saying the same thing. When Zesco was opening the Kafue Gorge Lower, Simon Muir had gone there in the morning. We're going to Kafue Gorge Lower today. So he did that, what he does with his phone, and he was there the whole day. We're live at Kafue Gorge. And so I'm like, these companies, Diamond TV, ZNBC, they really should engage in some of these, because people may not be there watching ZNBC TV, or they may, because the only time there's news at 19, and then they'll hear it as a story, this afternoon, Shanshan. But the people have their phones on the bus, they have their phones in their office, they have their phones in their hands. So if you do things on Facebook, if you do things on whatever, on social media, information is going out there. You'll be in real time, and then you can bring it in the news as well officially. But catch on that as well,
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bamwewa has done a great job. I'll
He
give
really
him that.
has. He really has. He really knows his game.
I mean, whether owns our,
Hey, yes, he does. Yeah.
I say I get more breaking news from Bamwewa than ZNBC. And maybe it's because I don't watch ZNBC and I doubt I would.
Well, the problem with companies like this, there's too much. I don't want to call it red tape. They want to be professional. They want to verify information. You can't just broadcast anything anyhow. And then again, there's also, because it's a public thing, you don't want to go live and then you have somebody in the video who says something derogatory, and then because he's saying something against you, want to cut it off. Live is live, so you won't be able to edit it and make it look as if how you want it to look. So for them, they have that apprehension and say, no, we'd rather have something post-produced so that we can select what we show and what we don't show, and the clips. So all those are internal issues different companies have.
Yeah, can't scan. Oh, maybe, but that's one of, maybe they should come up with a department of just people that do live things.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
if you've seen BBC, they have something they call open source. So where they get live footage from either
anyone and everyone.
yeah. That's how these big brands are growing, and they're growing fast. They seem just to be more creative than most of us. Yeah. Yeah, I think what Simon has really, really done good for
Yeah,
himself. And
he
Zambia, it's
really
like
has.
if something works, then everyone goes to what Simon. Tayari is also another
Let's
one who's done really good.
Ish, Tally knows how to get attention for no. I don't even know for what reason. You know how people like you chaps. What's Tally has a different approach than Simon. Man. Tally likes making drama, unnecessary drama, and ish. I don't know.
Yeah. What works for Tayari is that Zambians are very forgiving.
Mm.
So tomorrow he might come change, and if he can manage to have the same hooks, like for me, he won my heart once when UNZA students were, I mean, CBU students were beaten by the
Mm.
police. They were really, really beaten, and then he went and had a conversation with I don't know if it was movie or someone was holding a town hall of some sort, and then he gave a
Yes,
very
yes.
passionate plea. I'm like, oh, but the hell did that? But besides that, not yeah. But of course, I'm a student of these things, so I can't ignore him. I have to
Yes, yes, yes,
study what he's doing, how he's interacting.
yes. I was
I mean,
doing it. Yes.
Siawan has a remedy. Ignore him, but you can't. There's something that Chinukatayali is doing, and because there are very few people doing some of the things that he's doing, you don't have an alternative. So therefore, people go.
Yes, yes,
Whether
yes,
you are
yes.
there to hate his page, give a bad comment, Facebook has no idea. For them, it's engagement.
Mm.
And they'll show him to more
Yes,
people. And if
yes,
you
yes.
show him to
Because
more
more people
people,
are viewing it.
then more
More
people,
views, more comments, more likes. Yeah.
people that support what he'll be doing, or those that claim that he's being sponsored will think, oh, he's a guy to go to because look at the engagement
Mm. Mm.
and the circle of
Yes,
life.
yes, yes.
But Simon might win in the long run. I think he's doing.
The way he's doing, yes. Because he
I
mixes it with lessons in English, his stuff is almost very neutral. He
yeah.
never does it
I saw an
terribly.
interview with you and him. I watched that one when you were going to Southern Province. Then he met you and then
Livingston.
interviewed you. Was
Yes.
it Stone? Yeah.
You saw it on his page, eh?
No, yeah, I don't know. I think you shared it. So
Yes, I shared it. I shared it.
because so when you post something, YouTube notifies me, and then
Mm, mm.
you made a cool thumbnail. I was like, oh, Khumba is killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just studying these things and noticing, and okay, that's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's good to
cool.
talk to someone who's in the know. Let me get a glass of. Let me just get a glass of water.
Not a problem.
Just a minute. All right.
Cool.
Oh, nice cold water.
Yeah. I I have been seeing Tisa, the trendsetter. Have you met her?
I don't know Tisa. I haven't even followed what Tisa is doing.
Okay, so
So I wouldn't. I know
that's
there's that other guy who was at the youth advocate and Shan Yoko. A very controversial chap. I'd seen a number of his posts, but I haven't seen them of late.
yeah.
But
He blew up at some point.
but I haven't seen this. I don't know what this has done. So yeah.
Yeah, Tisa also was really big at some point. Right now, I've seen pictures of her with Walungu's Tasila. Tasila.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there are some pictures. But she used to be, because the way I get things in my newsfeed now, because I've not been so active on Facebook, is I see people I know commenting on things.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, okay, okay.
has a way of showing you things.
Yes, yes. With friends,
Comment.
when friends comment on, yeah.
Yeah. Then I check it out. So she used to make a lot of videos. I don't know if she has. I don't follow her, but because of that, so I checked some of the things that she did, and she seemed
Yeah.
to be a lady with a message. She also used to go with trending things,
Okay.
but what she did is she would have lessons. So if something happened, like for example, recently Wakane Nevadi Wakaka, so then she would come and talk about that and how serious it is. Yeah, she seemed like with interesting principles, or at least she would.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think she's one of the people that I've seen doing it the right way. Almost same type of content like Wamwewa, because he also does some of those similar things. Something has happened.
Oh, okay.
Say,
Okay.
hey guys, this is happening. There's something. Yeah, but she had her own interesting twist.
Well, doing things, yes.
Yeah. Are there other YouTubers? I mean, apart from uh, the one you mentioned, I follow her. I'm a subscriber. She seems to
Sakai.
be a guy. Uh, I-
There's Inutu. I don't know if you remember Inutu. Inutu J Muvanga.
Zoe.
No. Oh, actually, Zoe is also Zoe Inutu. But Inutu is somebody else. Inutu J Muvanga. Inutu is in Spain.
Okay.
She actually met with you in Hastings. Hastings is like, oh, I know Inutu. Oh, okay. Inutu is in Spain, and Inutu is into Zambian musicians. So she's been showcasing Zambian music. So she'd always do a live show on Saturday, and then during the week she'd Zambian music, Zambian musicians, and so on and so forth. So she's been into that of late. She's getting Zambian musicians.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that's Inutu.
I just found her channel.
Yes, that's Inutu. But she's in Spain, so she's been doing that. I think she's really been consistent with that. And building her brand on that. Initially, she was doing a bit of this small YouTuber support. She really wants to support others either way, regardless of what she's doing. So that was one of the things she was doing. Now she's into musicians.
Are they in the
Let's
same
see.
place as Hastings?
Yes, in Spain. Not the same town, but I think they have like a community of Zambian community. So I think he met her from there.
It's those things that make you realize how important your home country is.
Hey, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, her, yeah. So I just met her. So we've become good friends, but just from YouTube, and social media. And she's very active on Instagram. I'm trying to think of others who have, I don't want to say proper channels, but who have specific channels and do something specific. The guy I was talking about, his channel, I think he calls it 10,000 BC.
Yeah.
The one who does town by town by town by town. So he's doing a good job.
10,000
Yes, numbers 10,000 BC. What these guys? Lawrence Mwamba. Lawrence Mwamba Zambia. Lawrence Mwamba he does a bit of trending, but he's a content creator in that he does films, short films, and things like that from where he lives.
Mhm.
So he does a bit of professional videography as well. So in addition to just these things, so he's someone I know. Other people just do hair. These girls and their hair things.
I've seen
Uh,
the Crown Your Mane.
Crown your man, Mapembewe.
Yeah, they seem to
Yes,
be really serious. Lydia as well. Life has.
yes, life has she started that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been following her.
Crown your man has really grown. She's doing very well. She studied in the UK, came back and started doing that channel. So,
Uh,
life has I haven't watched it much. I haven't watched a lot of their videos. So I should.
yeah,
I saw there's another one she did today. She shared where she's talking about money and stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
I've been following them, watching some of their videos they make because she's a
mhm.
sister, and I'm glad she lived up to. I mean, it's really sad if you follow someone because you know them and then
They
and then
disappoint you like, come on, man.
bad.
That's true.
But she's lived up to. I don't know the other lady, Ruth,
Mhm.
but
That's her sister-in-law, something
yeah,
like that.
sister-in-law because they both share.
Yes,
So I've tried to follow them.
surname. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's really good when you follow someone and they really because then
Yeah.
you feel good supporting. Yeah,
And supporting them for all the right reasons, I like
true.
this is yes, yes.
Yeah, it seems that, and they are improving and they really seem to be doing
They're doing
something.
well. They're doing well, yes.
And I watched somewhere they talked about the language, and it was quite interesting learning about some of the things they used to think are words in English that are
Oh,
not.
okay.
It was just quite interesting learning because
Okay.
one of the sad thing or one of the hard things I've learned being in a place where I have to use English all the time, I just
Mm,
realized
mm.
how much I don't know how to speak.
Yeah,
I,
that
I probably should have paid more attention to all those grammar classes and because I know it's wrong, but I don't know how to correct
how
themselves.
to correct.
And then,
It's funny because
fortunately, though, because there's no one to correct you, so I get away with it. But I still know that this is not.
it's interesting because in Zambia you can get away with certain things because everybody. It's like you're saying, um, I don't know what word to say right now. When you're talking, when you say something like shanshan yuko, in Zambia someone will understand, but if you're in the UK and say shanshani, they're like, what's shanshan yuko? And they're like, how do I say shanshan in English? Or something like that.
True.
Then you try to start restructuring your sentence and using proper English.
And also just articulating certain words or the way you pronounce certain words and I,
Yes.
I mean if everyone understands it you don't bother to
Yes. One pin, two zare. Just so that you can just pay two zare. There are certain things which are general. Yeah.
so I've had to work on certain things and certain things I doubt it will change because yeah. I mean and that's the thing if you listen to some of the high educated politicians that have lived abroad for many years and then they came back to Zambia and then they were in Zambia for many years and then you wonder why do they sound like they've never been to school. It's just that it's the way we use English.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever watched Mu Parliament. Honorable
For the
man.
great. Yeah.
Those are very educated and articulate people, but there's just a way we just become lazy. Just
I
contextually,
remember
it makes
George. I
sense.
remember George Kunda. There are a lot of people. They're not. Yeah, they don't. They're not bothered. I've got
No.
my job. I've got money. I'm educated.
Mhm.
I'm not here to prove anything to anyone by speaking very elaborate English. So life goes on.
I
Let me
was.
do my job.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's quite interesting because I mean here, when I said certain things, people be like, huh?
Mm, mm, mm.
Especially the struggle between American English and British. It's like
And British English, yeah.
we are taught British in English in school, but most
Yes,
of our
yes.
media is American, and
Yes,
and then we grow up not knowing the difference
yes, yes,
because
yes.
most of the learning we just pick it up depending on
Yes.
who you met who is using the word. Oh, bari bashita Simon. That's what you've grown up. You know
Yes,
Simon
yes.
not because you can't pronounce what it is. You don't know.
But that's just what you're used. That's the way you're used to saying it.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed their show. It's quite interesting. So what's the probably? I mean, we've been talking for some time. Probably as
Uh,
we probably try to.
we've even forgotten the question we're supposed to have asked.
I think it was just interesting to go with the flow because you've said some of the
Yeah,
important. So what I'll try to
I
do, I
mean,
mean, I'll just leave it, and then if when I have time, just try to cut it in some of those
cut
small
it.
chunks, and then try to learn things like thumbnails and all those things. So this is
Oh,
more
okay,
like an
yes.
experiment that
Okay,
I'm doing.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Which is good.
once I get some certain skills, I have it down. Then I'll launch, try to promote it. This is like the
Proper.
yeah. So I was trying to leverage Facebook to promote it and all those things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. What's the goal for your channel? Probably that would be like the
My girlfriend once asked me that. My
yeah.
my girlfriend. But what I tried to do, I was like, look, I don't know. The Khumba Guy just started as a hobby, started as something I enjoyed. I wanted to share my travels and share my this. And it really was just that, you know. I hadn't even thought it out even before I started my YouTube channel, saying, okay, I'll do this. I'll be releasing videos of this nature. I'll be
Mm,
releasing them every. It wasn't a plan. It was just purukutu, you know, and make a video, you upload it. But over time, I think I've come to see through interactions, even some of like the tips you've given and so on, bit by bit, you're like, I can do something out of this. You know, I can
yeah.
do videos like this. I can do things like this. I can engage systems like this.
Mm,
So where I am now, I've seen what people enjoy. I've seen what I enjoy, what I can do,
mm,
what I enjoy doing, and things like that. And like all these ideas, I've seen the opportunities which are also there.
mm,
At least I've come up with my own brand. I've got my brand colors. I've got my slogan, my let's go. So, you know,
mm,
and it's catching on with a lot of people. I'm the Khumba Guy. Let's go.
mm,
So, at least I've got that, and there are a lot more engagements I'm trying to do in tourism. For example, I'd like to do interviews with some people. So, someone advised me and said, look, if it's a government institution, most people won't want to talk unless there's
mm,
official. So go and apply at Ministry of Tourism, tell them that you like. So there's a number of things which I'd want to do. Even as I go into 2021, God willing, I really hope for more, just rather than like you suggested, you know, you invite this person, and
mm,
so more. I don't want just to be a random YouTuber. You know, I also want to. It's nice to be fun and talk about this, but I also want to have a serious element to my channel
yeah.
where I talk about real issues facing tourism, real issues facing the transport industry and transport sector.
I would love to be part of that.
Yeah. You know,
Maybe we can have a show and just spend time talking about that. Spend either 20 minutes in a month, just talk about that.
talking about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Certain policies, you know, try to find people who are decision makers and say, come, let's talk about this, you know. This decision was made to do this, and so on, why, and so on. So it would be, so I'm hoping I could start steering. I mean, I'll go on with my usual format.
Mhm.
Hi guys, today I'm traveling here. Someone once told me, hey, Kumlani, you've recently actually, I shared a video which I hadn't done. It was
Mm,
done by the lodge itself. Very nice professional drones and so on, and there wasn't much talking. So it's a good play advertising their lodge. So I don't know if it was just that one or even another one, but somebody commented and said, "You seem to have changed direction. Can you go back to doing the odd videos the way you used to do the odd videos? We liked those." And I was like, "Oh, I've not really changed direction. I've just had a different one or two videos which are different from one." So I've noticed that people like the format, where you talk, you introduce, what's up, I'm here, and so on. So all that is now building towards the brand and building towards an identity and so on. But I wanna see how I can do more stuff,
Yeah.
the channel and for the industry in general.
Yeah. That'll be really good. Yeah. Yeah. For me, I think I'd love to see the business side of YouTube. How people can leverage YouTube to achieve their business goals.
Hold on a minute. People had come back at the gate, so I was just checking the door.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying that I'm quite interested in the business side of this social media thing. So how can we leverage these to create opportunities for ourselves, or create more sustainable channels? Because I think I shared with you last time. There's a show I've been watching. A guy travels and then does cooking, where he travels and tests the local food.
Oh, okay.
And he has done it. He has done a series in Africa. So he goes and then he eats their food. They cook it, and so he has a cool way of telling stories around that. And I think, I think it really caught my attention, because one of the things I liked about that show is that he respects the locals. So he's not, he really represents them. He's coming from outside. He's a foreigner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sometimes I
He
think,
just doesn't talk trash about people about food because he doesn't know it. So.
yeah. And then when he senses that he might be misunderstood, he really clarifies it, but not from a point of, no, this might be misunderstood.
It clarifies,
But
yes.
it's more like this is their way of life. I know some of my audience will misunderstand it, but you have to understand that this is how people have lived.
Integrates it in how he's talking about things.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting that he does
that.
Yeah. So, but the way he does that,
I had a write up.
Sorry.
I had the finish that thought, and I can.
Yeah. I was about to say that the way he does that is he meets local content creators.
Okay.
So he links up with them, and then some of them are his guide and all those things. So in my head, I was thinking.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay. Good night. Sorry.
Not a problem. Not a problem. You had warned me.
It did. Everyone is asleep. Yeah. Who's back? Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
In my head, I was thinking, if I had a channel and a platform where I was already big, and because I'm interested in tourism and I was in Zambia, I probably would have pitched him an idea of coming to Zambia to do a show like that in Zambia, and then I can.
Oh, okay.
because that's one of the way you grow. If you can pick back on other big YouTubers, and
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So some of these other people from different countries are reaping the benefit of strategically positioning yourself online, being known for what you do, and then some other big people will find you and you blow up like that.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Wodemaya came to Zambia once, and people used that opportunity to make videos with him and
Yeah.
just include that in your titles, because Wodemaya is big now. He's going to what, 300,000 or something like that. Is
400.
it actually 500,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, just put Wodemaya in your title and whatever it is, and you get videos. So it was rather interesting. I was talking about business side of things. The thing you were mentioning. I had been writing out something, and I learned that there are two types of businesses or companies. There's B2C and B2B, as they call them.
Yeah.
And so there's business to consumer, and then business to business. So your service could be either of those. So I was like, so on YouTube, we should be able to. That's something I want to leverage as well. Most of my stuff is B2C, so it's a service to customers or consumers. Freddy, come close that door. In fact, it's time to sleep. Yeah. So most of my stuff is B2C, business to consumer, business to consumer. But you should be able to offer business to business services. So like what Simon Moore has done with Trade Kings, that's him offering the business a service. So he's offering Trade Kings a service to advertise, or whatever it is. He's offering them a platform. So like where he said, look, you can have companies come to you. So that's B2B, where now you're not just engaging with people, but you're also serving the companies and so on. So it's very good to develop B2B, and this is where, if your channel has a proper structure and if it's a proper brand, then B2B will be easier. But if it's just a channel, then it will just continue being a B2C. Just people who watch it and they'll have fun, and people will watch it and they'll have fun. But you won't have an opportunity to be B2B, because you won't go to a company and say, look, I've got this channel and I'll do this. And like, this is not something we want to be associated with, and so on. So yeah.
That's really true, and that's what I hope most channels would do. And unfortunately, there are very few that seem to be at that point where companies will start engaging them, and we need to build that in Zambia.
Well,
it's
most
very
people,
important.
the problem is most people put YouTube as just a social media account, just the way Facebook is. It's not a professional thing. It's not my job. Got my job this side, and then I've got Facebook. I've got my job this side, and I've got YouTube. So they don't put YouTube as, oh, it's a big marketing. I've done this. I can use YouTube as whatever. No. You can. If I want to do a business, I'll start a radio station or I'll start a TV channel, but I won't start a YouTube channel. YouTube is still it's just a fun thing. So eventually, probably people will see that it can also be a business thing, or it can be a serious thing as well.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, man, it's been really, really, really awesome chatting with you. And
I mean, considering how long it's been interesting.
yeah, you have a lot to give. I mean, what you've just said again, it's like opened up my mind. I've got 1,000 questions, but I can't keep you forever. yeah. But my plan is, I'm planning to launch my consultancy service, and that's one of the reasons I'm starting YouTube. And man, if you need anything, either business development or marketing strategy, the business backbone of your channel, feel free let me know.
I shall.
Yeah,
I shall.
yeah. Feel
Yeah.
free, or just a long-term strategy. For me, I know what I'm doing. It might take me three years to build it, so we
Okay.
can always
Close the
talk.
door.
That would be really great. You're always
Yeah,
welcome.
no problem.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. Thank you.
yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
sure to get in touch with you.
So right
You've got a
now,
lot of brilliant ideas already.
I've got a few. Yeah, I mean, I spend some time reading these things. Like I've told you, it's like I know too much than too little. Now I'm trying to practice and see how many people I can help. So right now, I have opened some space for at least 5 people that I can work with, and I'm just offering them for free, but only for 5 people. So once that opens, because I have to work with people for a long time to establish some of these things.
Something.
So
Okay.
like for what I'm doing, I know it will take me 3 years to get to where I'm going, to be at the point
Okay.
where, so I know even if I don't get a subscriber in these 3 years, if the foundation is solid, I know I'll do much better after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're
I
always welcome.
like that. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
So
you. Thank you
feel
very
free to
much.
hit me up, and then we can further talk and
I'll,
have
I'll, I'll, I'll link you up to another guy. There's another friend of mine who's very much like what you've talked about, the foundation. It is into safety,
yeah.
but he's a thinker. He would
Yeah.
rather spend 2 weeks thinking and planning and writing his ideas and then spend 2 days doing what he's doing. So he's more into the underground, this. Then eventually he does it. So he's not concerned about right now putting systems in order, structures in order, things here and there, and eventually things work out. So yeah, but we'll continue talking. We'll continue talking.
Awesome. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks. Yep. Have a good evening. Have a good
Yeah.
weekend.
Have a
It
good
was
night.
good.
Yeah.
I'll look out. I'll look out on your channel for this video.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.